Hi, this is Sam here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 4th of June. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which remains just about within that recent range, rather strange range in the sense that it's 87 to 8,800 almost exactly, and sort of horizontal range, and looking for a breakout towards not only the record highs of the year through 89.20, but also up to 9,000 potentially. Top of that green broadening triangle by the end of next month. Any rug pull, hopefully no lower than 86.50, the initial May resistance. Moving on to the DAX, and here the picture is that we've had an unfilled gap to the upside, recent support around 23,700 and above that. On an end-of-day close basis, still looking for the top of that rising trend channel, stretching towards 24,800, and hopefully that'll happen well before the end of this month. Onto the Dow, where we've got the 50 and 200-day lines rising. We've had an RSI 50 rebound. We're within the rising red trend channel in place since May last year at 42,000, which is the base. And above that, looking for not only a break of 42,800, recent post-March resistance, but also a move to 44,000, perhaps as soon as the end of this month. Given that everyone and their mother is in Bitcoin treasury at the moment, or going there, then we've got a lot of interest in Bitcoin at the moment. Here we've had a bounce mid-bull flag, actually mid-May bull flag around 103,000. Above that, looking for a retest of the best levels, 112,000, and hopefully by the end of next month up to 123,000. At the top of that rising trend channel from the early part of last year. There is a rug pull, not expecting anything worse than the 50-day line just below $100,000. On to gold, and here you can see that the picture is that of a market which has broken that April resistance line, found support at it around 33.40, and above that we're looking for not only the record highs of back in April at 3,500, but also 3,800 as soon as the end of next month, which is the top of a rising trend channel from March last year. Moving along to the stocks, and starting off with CAB Payments, which has been a bit of a dog, really, to be honest. We have had a gap higher today, which tallies well with the unfilled gap to the downside that we had back in February. So this could be a bear trap island reversal, but a bit late, a bit soon maybe to go for that, unless we get a decent end-of-day close above the 50-day line at 45 pence. If we do that, then maybe a move to the mid-50s and post-March resistance is the best-case scenario for the shares. But it has to be said, any strength in this stock has obviously by definition been sold into many, many times. Moving along to Empire Metals, which seems to be rehabilitating itself at the moment. We've got the shares obeying an uptrend line there from back in November, and above the 50-day line at 10.75, above that 50-day line after the unfilled gap to the upside. We're looking for 16 pence by the end of next month or even sooner, especially given the way that there have been a couple of RSI 50 rebounds as well over the recent past. But breaking 12 pence looks as though it is significant at Empire. On to Eco Atlantic, which still has that irritating bracket in the name, but here we had great news about the Orange Basin. The shares only up 5%, which is a bit disappointing, but that's what the stock has tended to do in the recent past, i.e. disappoint. But at least while we're above the floor of the latest gap there, just below 10 pence, looking for it up to 14.5 pence by the end of next month. Moving on to something which is a bit of a lap of honor in the sense that all the near-term targets have been hit and exceeded. The first one on ITM 35, then 44, then 57, 71, and finally 86 pence. Current situation with the gap to the upside that we've had today is that we are looking for up to £1, which was old 2023 resistance, by the end of next month, especially if we can get a proper end-of-day close through 86 pence. In fact, could be even by the end of this month if we get a close above 86 pence. Ideally, we stay above the gap floor, the latest gap floor at 80 pence, whatever happens to keep the rally going. Another stock which is over-delivered has been Mast in the recent past with funding news. Massive unfilled gap to the upside on the second target and finding support at 0.91 pence on the third target. Final near-term target up to as high as 1.6 pence by the end of next month, which is old October 2023 resistance, but we need to keep that 0.9 pence area to keep the momentum going. Another overachiever in terms of upside has been Mila, and here, third target easily dispatched at 0.97 above that. Looking for as much as 1 3/4 pence by the end of next month, which was a resistance on the way down back in 2023. Everybody was looking for the rug to be pulled at Metals 1, but it didn't happen perhaps while they were expecting it. Finally, we got that yesterday with the big move down. Well, that's the start of the week. Current situation is that we need to see an end-of-day close back above the 50-day line at 26.8 pence to get the rally going again, as we did back in April. Otherwise, there's a risk of a further move down towards the mid-teens, which was the trading area back in April. Moving along to a situation which the bears will be hoping will do what Metals 1 has done in the last couple of days, which is tank. But in the meantime, we're still within that rising trend channel based at 67 pence now and above that. Looking for the top of the channel there as high as 106 pence by the end of this month. What's encouraging at the moment is that support seems to be coming now back in through the 80 pence level after Friday's very strong hammer candle. So that is quite encouraging. But if there is any rug pull down to the mid-60s, that's probably an entry point ahead of a potential move towards the 110 pence area. Next up is Smart Tech 247, which is a requested stock, and did interview the company some weeks back after its trading update. Rising 50-day line there at 7.3 pence at the floor of that rising trend channel, and above that looking for as high as 15 pence by the end of next month. So that would also fill the gap down that we had back in September. 10 Lifestyle is next, and here you can see that we've gapped up above a rising 50-day line at 60 pence. Above that, looking for 80 pence as soon as the end of next month, given the way that we've had an RSI rebound as well, just above the neutral 50 level. Finishing off with the last two. First one is United Oil and Gas, where it looks as though we're taking advantage of the rising trend channel base from January, the RSI pushing through a neutral 50, and also the way that the 50-day line is also rising sharply, and we've closed above that. Means we're not only looking for the 200-day line at 0.13, but as high as 0.2 pence by the end of next month, while we remain above the 0.1 pence level. Finishing off with Vast, and here you can see that having another go at the upside after bouncing, about double bounce RSI rebound at neutral 50, which tends to be a continuation signal, and above the basically 0.48 pence level, looking for up to 0.71 by the end of next month. 0.71 is derived from the old resistance on the way down from back in February last year. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.